Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're very well. Welcome back to another episode of this series, Down to the Roots. So I'm in Argentina right now in the city of Buenos Aires. You can see I've got a very special cup of gourd in my hands. It was hand painted by a friend of mine, Gonza, who has his own business here in Argentina selling these hand painted products. But I want to find out a little bit more about what importance hand painted, handcrafted products have to Mate as a customer, and why it's important to support these small creators who put so much love and care into these products. So I'm meeting up with him today and we're going to find out a little bit more. Welcome to this episode of Down to the Roots. Obviously, like a lot of these episodes of the series Down to the Roots, this was recorded 2 years ago, maybe a bit more. But actually, a lot has changed in the world since then. We're living in a world where things change at a faster and faster pace. Exponentially, we're seeing changes all the time. And particularly, I'm obviously referring to AI, right? And the things that have been happening since this came out. The ability that AI has now is, to create things, right? So ultimately, we come into sort of that philosophical question of what is the purpose of human creativity or art? Why, when a machine can do all these things for you, what value does something like a human sitting down, taking the time to express themselves have? So in this episode, we're going to be meeting up with a friend of mine, Gonza, from the business Cine Mate Arte, who specializes mostly in painting cinema film characters onto mate cups and gourds, particularly wooden ones. He's done a whole bunch of different gourds for me over the years. For Fabrizio Coloccini, ex-Newcastle United player that I went and drank mate with. If you haven't seen the video, it will be on the screen now. Go and watch it after this one. It's available on our channel. Also for Jonas Gutierrez, obviously another Newcastle United player. He's also done one that I gifted to my wife, and also one that was just for me. AI, I mean, it's not like it's all bad if you see it as another tool in a toolbox. Even to edit this video, I use AI somewhat. I have to correct it because it's not perfect. But for instance, with the subtitles, in fact, actually translating the subtitles, I do it myself. But there's lots of parts in the editing process that I use AI for. But it's just for those repetitive jobs, those repetitive tasks. The danger comes when you take away the human function, the human value, that human creativity, and you give it to a robot, to a machine, in my opinion. There's a whole movement in Argentina nowadays of people who paint mate gourds, mate artists. I want to show the face, the person behind it, so you can see how much it means, that expression of creativity, and maybe why the AI is just maybe like a simulation of that creativity. It's not the real thing. Obviously, mate as a customer, I've mentioned this a few times now in this series, it's growing as a customer around the world, but we really need to work to protect these kind of things. This is part of mate drinking culture, and so I know a lot of people around the world selling cups and gourds made in China. This is not a good thing. We need to be protecting South American industry, South American creators, small scale artisans as much as possible. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, the interview that I did with my friend Gonza. Let's get into it right now. What's up, folks? How you all doing? I hope you're well. Gonza, could you tell us about yourself?
My name's Gonzalo. I'm 47 years old. I've been painting mate gourds for 3 years now. I already painted stuff, but yeah, I wanted to find something that represented me as a person. So from here, Argentina, I had the idea to paint these wooden mate gourds. This one's made of cardboard. This also Carlen, a wood native to the Pampa region. And those are the two most common types of wood. So you get a gourd like this, it's 100% handmade by a carpenter. Sometimes they sand it down a little bit more before working on it. And you can't just go straight into painting them. There's a whole process involved. So you have to seal the wood. You have to apply a seal to prevent staining, a stain protector or a stain blocker, we call it. And then once you've done that, you can begin to paint the design on. First you've got to pick a background color, a drawing and a design, and then once it's done, you apply a varnish. Your one's obviously 100% finished, so we can drink out of it.
It's absolutely excellent, this gourd. I mean, the level of detail, how well it came out, it's just amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, I uploaded a story on Instagram. Everyone was so impressed by it. You smashed it.
Yeah, for sure, it was a really nice job to do. And it came out well. I even went the extra mile to do the Anavlu on the back, which is not an easy logo to design. So yeah, it came out really well.
And then underneath you painted a little extra something, a special touch, let's see.
For sure, sometimes I put a little something extra on the bottom of the gourds too.
Can you tell me about the importance that art has for you on a personal level, but also to Matti as a custom, and why we should protect this kind of thing? In other words, what importance does supporting small-scale artists and craftsmen have in today's world?
When it comes to painting Matti gourds, I was like, what was the average Argentine use on a daily basis? The first thing that came to mind, Matti gourds. I mean, 95% of Argentines drink Matti. Now, English people do too as well. So I said, I love cinema. I really love films. I want to mix cinema with Matti and art. And that's how the name for my brand came to me. If you see my brand name quickly, it all rolls together. Mixing these elements together, cinema d'arte. So I began to see what I could do with characters from things like Star Wars, and also like a couple of kids' films from the 80s, things that really had an impact on me personally. And then later on, started mixing anime, because a lot of people are into that now. And then by allowing people to request personalized gourds, if you want something specific, for instance, your one, exactly, then I'll paint it for you. And then people started to ask for like portraits or pets on their gourds. Started doing different things with my artwork, catering to the taste of my clients. That's the personal touch, Client asks for a certain design, and I'll put it on the gourd. As long as it's possible, the buys their favorite team, for instance, whatever it may be, and that link between art and Matti is solidified by the fact that they're personalized. No two gourds are the same, just like how no two people are the same. It'd be boring, just plain, like how I buy them. That's a personal touch. It represents the person in the way it's your gourd. And that's why I love doing this. You, for instance, you have your logo on there.
The gourd represents the person. It's like their own personal...
Sort done by hand, which takes time. It's not the same as an industrial process, which takes seconds. It's a form of creative expression. It's the artist's personal style engraved into their work, like a mini work of art. Instead of being on a canvas, it's done on a smaller scale, and you can take it wherever you go and use it.
It's a mini work of art.
Yeah, precisely. In the Matti community, there's kind of a current artistic movement. It's not just related to Matti, but yeah, it's a whole process behind preparing the wood that needs to be painted. The calabash gourd, if you're using one like that, goes to engrave gourds with a chisel. In the case of an imperial style gourd, for instance, the whole process is done by hand. And that's what you're paying for. It isn't the product itself. It's the beauty that comes from it. Being handmade or hand-painted isn't necessarily worth the price it charges if you're just talking about what it's made of, the material. But from an artistic point of view, it most definitely is. And that's what you're buying, a work of art. The time that the artist or artisan has put in to create it.
It's an honor to meet you and collaborate with you, honestly.
For me, it's an honor, because you put so much time, effort, and dedication into this custom, despite not being from here.
Thank you. It's something I'm really passionate about, but yeah, it's really cool that it gives me the opportunity to meet great and interesting people like you. So yeah. And I always say, how couldn't you fall in love with Matti? I mean, you see how much care goes into it behind the scenes.
Matti is a companion. It's with you by your side no matter what. And never leave you. You can drink it alone or with others, whether that's friends or family. Any time of the day. And yeah, it's always a good time to drink Matti. And if you're alone, you never feel alone. It's a faithful companion, no matter the situation.
It's always there for you. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that video, and just a few little conclusions that I wanted to add before we finish up for today. Whilst art might not be necessary for survival, I personally feel like it is for life itself. It's a difference between simply existing and living, and I think art is one of the key factors, and shared experiences as well, that make those differences. And that's what art represents, that's what mate represents at the end of the day. And that's not only from the perspective of an artist or a person who sits down to express themselves creatively, who takes the time out of their day, to put their effort in to create something that reflects their vision, their version of reality, but also the person on the other side who interacts with art and the artist either directly or indirectly. And for me, art is born out of that quintessential human experience, something that AI is unable to replicate. It's just, at this point in time at least, a simulation of that, sort of something that's learnt from all the base of knowledge it has, what humans are like and sort of how we might think. It's not the same as an artist who sits down, takes the time out of the day to reflect their own lived experience, and hopefully people can relate to that. And there we enter into a debate that's existed for many years. This is a new facet of an old debate. I remember being at university and we studied an essay by an author known as Umberto Eco, an Italian author. And I'm not sure exactly what it's called in English, but Apocalípticos e Integrados is the name in Spanish. It was basically discussing the views on high and low culture, new forms of media when things like movies, TV shows and that came out, comparing that to more traditional forms of art, and also saying, art is more accessible to anybody nowadays. That has its positives. A lot of people can actually create art that maybe couldn't have done in previous time periods, but it also has its negatives. Saturation of the market, things like what we're seeing now with AI, the possibilities there. And so maybe AI is going to replace a lot of the content we might see online, but the experience of creating and interacting with art, I think it's irreplaceable. I'd like to know if you guys have a different perspective, what you might think. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please join me for the rest of this series. We're going to be doing some really interesting stuff. Overall, I just hope this video has served as like food for thought for this topic. And I also just want to say that my message with all of the stuff that I do really is hopefully to invite you to reflect on your relationship with technology, how much you use it, maybe go into the real world, try and take some time out, share a mate, etc. I know that it's quite hypocritical maybe for me to be online saying these things, but it's the way to reach people that might need to hear that message. So and I try to practice what I preach as best as I can in my day-to-day life. So just reflect on this topic basically. We've got some really interesting stuff coming along in the next few episodes, so stick around for that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you then. Take care.